The 2 Cent Report!
And good morning, good day, hello. I can't remember all the things Truman says. Welcome to everybody, whoever is everybody, to the 2 Cent Report with me, Justin, or 1 Cent Justin, or aka LC Lupus, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful, illustrious co-host, whose name is...
Oh, now you want? Okay, sorry. I was just I was waiting for the racism. Like I was like ready for it. I was joined by my wonderful ethnic companion or something. I was waiting for it, but you got me there. You got me. You.
Yes, I was going more for a magician vibe. You know, like you're like in the little tutu thing, and then I cut you in half.
Oh, okay. All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello world. I am 1 Cent Tristan, the co-host, and should be soon the host of the show, as I feel
Very
one
true.
of us may be losing our mind.
I'm not losing my mind. I never had one.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, poor Justin. Such a poor baby.
No, don't feel sorry for yourself. What's on today's agenda?
Okay, so we have a bunch of shit happened actually, and I'm actually trying to find a specific tweet, which is a bit annoying, because I wanted to read the exact tweet. Okay, good, I found it. So, bunch of stuff happened, and I've actually had to divide things into categories in a very, very specific way. We do also have some acquisitions. One that I care about, one that is really big, and one that I don't care, but it's one. So
It's part of the job.
So the first one is Rockstar Games has announced something that should have been obvious to anyone when you make the most successful video game product of all time, or actually the most successful entertainment product of all time. There will probably be a sequel, and they've announced a sequel. However, what makes me laugh about it...
What like a sequel, like Bully? Is there a sequel coming to another sequel coming to the Red Dead franchise? Which sequel?
No.
What are we talking about here?
GTA 6.
Ah, there you go.
So, the thing I like about it the most, though, is because of how Rockstar Games decided to announce it. They announced it on Twitter in the most Rockstar way ever, because this is what they do. They like to be like, no, we'll just announce it randomly. Like, I remember when GTA 5, when the trailers came out, the trailers were considered to be like bigger news than game releases. So they do this, and this is what Rockstar does. They just do it's a 2-tweet thread. Many of you have been asking about a new entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. With every new project, our goal is always to significantly move beyond what we've previously delivered. We're pleased to confirm that active development for the next entry in the series is underway. We look forward to sharing more as soon as we are ready, so please stay tuned to Rockstar Newswire for official details. On behalf of our entire team, we thank you for your support and cannot wait to step into the future with you.
Yay!
No big trailer or stuff. They're like, yeah, so we're making GTA 6.
I actually think that the problem with I prefer when games are announced or confirmed, because obviously there was rumor and speculation about them working on it already, and that so on and so forth. But I like that. I actually like that because they just humbly announced it. There's no trailer or anything for people to dig into and then to hype up beyond anything. And with the current effects of overhyped games these past few years, I think the more humble approach is definitely needed in this case. Because
I agree.
Like you said, I mean, like their games are already hyped up, and other than Skyrim, they are the only game that I know that had started at Xbox 360 and are still selling and are still going to the next gen platform. Like, other than Skyrim, they are the only other game that I know of that has achieved that kind of longevity.
Yeah, I suppose maybe the only other thing you could pretty much say is like Tetris. But that's a different beast entirely. But yeah, other than Skyrim, I can't really think of anything that's really...
Yeah, but like Tetris, Pac-Man, those all start in the arcade era, which means that once we figured out how to port games to home console, that was easy. I'm talking about a game that started on like a defining platform like the Xbox 360, or a game that started on PlayStation 2, like that kind of defining era, like the time we were really getting in. Like obviously we were a little bit more behind. Like we were PlayStation 1, I was PC, PlayStation 1, but that major boom in the 360 and with the 360 and the PS2. Obviously, the 360 was with the PS3, but I'm just saying like that was the one that really, like, if a person wasn't already known for being a PC gamer or having a PlayStation, you could guarantee that if they played games, it was on a 360.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I mean. Like Skyrim and GTA 5, the two games that are still being sold, and the difference is Skyrim went through Skyrim Special Edition, Legendary Edition, Special Edition, and now Anniversary Edition. GTA 5 has just been like, oh, we'll just upgrade the graphics.
Yeah, this is the PS5 version.
Oh yeah, you know that bug that happens in that one? Oh, it's still there because we are not about raising expectation. We want to give you what you want, the nostalgia. You're getting everything from that nostalgia, including all the game breaking bugs. And then they decided to appeal to a briefing community.
Well, it should be interesting to see what they do, because I mean, Red Dead came out and Red Dead 2 did well, but it did not replace GTA 5. So
I can't. The price tag is too high on Red Dead 2 to actually, because I want to play it. I mean, now that I have a RTX card, I wanna see ray tracing in there. I've seen what the game looks like. I want to be in that game and play it and experience it. But I'm not buying a new console anytime soon, and it's just expensive, man.
The thing is, like, I think this is also actually the thing with like Bethesda, because Bethesda released Fallout 4, like that was their last like big thing, and it didn't make the same impact as Skyrim. And I think that they're sitting there being like, fuck, if when we release, will it be Elder Scrolls 7 or Elder Scrolls 6?
6. It's
6.
Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, so it'll be Elder Scrolls 6. Many people were saying like it's Valenwood or it's Hammerfall. Like they did say on either it being Valenwood or Hammerfall.
Okay. Well, either way, imagine if it doesn't make an impact like Skyrim. They'd be like, fuck. I guess we need to release the Skyrim Again edition.
Go back to the land you knew. It was actually quite funny. Like when I saw the trailer and the what to be expected from the anniversary, I was like, okay, cool, I'll take a look at it. And it's like, you can expect to fish, and you can expect that one god that told you to stop before entering Whiterun to say welcome back. And it's like, okay, all right. I mean, like, Bethesda wasn't sleeping. Yes, I think that the Fallout 4 was the last actual game they released. Them, like, Bethesda Studios. Obviously, Skyrim is just, let's round up all the good mods and add them to the game kind of deal.
Pretty much.
But like, all the other games, like Arcane's game, yes, they were published by...
but that's not...
But yeah, it's also with the Dooms. They were also published by Bethesda, but they're not Bethesda games. Hence why they're not buggy as all fuck.
Yes.
And people like them.
Well, I think that's why people must know the distinction between Bethesda Softworks and Bethesda Game Studios. They are...
Oh yeah,
different. Also, isn't it funny that we're both like, yeah, the last thing that Bethesda released was Fallout 4, because no one gives a shit about Fallout 76.
I've actually, like, I can talk shit about it now because I've actually played it. Like, I own Fallout 76 on Steam. I bought it for our number one fan, Cyborg Bat, for Christmas as his Christmas gift, and then he got me into it, and we played a bit. The thing is, it's interesting. Yes, it's buggy. Like I wasn't not ones that I ever expected not to be buggy, and I'm okay with that because it wasn't. It wasn't. There were some times where it did crash, or the game was just unplayable, but it wasn't as bad as when I first played it on the Xbox Game Pass. Because when I first played it, it was no NPCs, no bug fixes, straight up everything that you saw on the internet was there. Now it's still got some bugs. The community, the actual players in game are nice. There are some people that um, I won't call them assholes. I would literally just say they were playing their type. Like if they stole something from you, because you can claim these workshops that you can produce stuff in that you can't otherwise produce. Like you can find fusion cores, uh, a power plant that produces fusion cores, and then a player that has a lot of power armor and that's higher level can challenge you to claim it so that they can produce power cores for their power armor. And that's kind of within the realm of Fallout for me. There's backstabbing in Fallout. There's always going to be backstabbing for because it's survival. So that was fine with me. Like I don't regard those players as being griefers because they're not. They're just playing the game, just like I would kick someone out who was low level for doing that. Simple. The quests are interesting. There is some lore and stuff that I'm picking up, but it doesn't obviously because of the MMO aspect. It can't just appeal to the single power fantasy. So there are some things that you would feel should be more powerful, but aren't. But yeah, I can say that Fallout 76 is still not a great game, but it's more playable than when I first played it. And now that I own it properly and not just have it on a Game Pass or anything, I can say no. Just no.
Well, it's a. I like that final answer. Well, shame. Poor Bethesda. But now they're owned by Microsoft, so it's maybe we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Anyway, should we move on?
Yes.
I don't know if you ever played this game. Did you ever play Wolf Among Us?
No.
Do you know of it?
No.
Alright, so for you and for people who don't know, Wolf Among Us was a Telltale game, but basically the second last good one. They made 3 good games. Season 1 of The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, and Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes.
The rest were
okay.
not
I'm so glad because I played Tales of the Borderlands on mobile. Well,
it's fucking
the
amazing.
small bit that you could get on mobile. I loved it, and then I played it on PC.
It's so good. Well, Wolf Among Us is it's based on a graphic novel series called Fables, and basically you play as what happened in the world was all the fairy tales are actually real, but then things like deforestation started happening, so they all left those places and then settled into human places. And there's this place in New York where all the fairy tale creatures live, and you play as Bigby, who's the big bad wolf, but he's not really doing how he used to be. He used to be like a murderous wolf. Now he's essentially the cop, and he goes around dealing with all their problems, and it's like a detective story, but it's really, really good. However, they did 1 season, 2013, and then never another. And now Wolf Among Us Season 2 has just been announced and got its first proper trailer. Only took them 9 years. So
9 years, a whole lot of retrenchments later.
Hopefully it's great because Season 1 is really, really good. And if you want to check out a good Telltale game, because a lot of them were very, very hit and miss, but this one was really good. It's very, very good. But yeah, that's just something really else to say there. Hopefully Telltale has improved their engine because they use the same engine for every game. So hopefully they've improved it. We will see what happens there.
Well, then,
in other news,
for you at least, I'm excited because I know you're excited for something like
Yes. So I'm very excited because it should be, hopefully it'll be great. But we will see. And then we also actually have something else that could potentially be exciting for me, but I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if you're gonna screw it up. We'll see. In that section, because it's actually 3 different things came up in this movie stuff. So Dwayne Johnson, The Rock Dwayne Johnson,
The rapper.
The rapper.
Yes, he raps.
Does he rap?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, shit, I heard about that. I forgot.
Yeah. He rapped about how people shouldn't mess with him because he's got what's it what would you call the the native people of New Zealand, the Maori. He's got Maori blood,
Yeah.
and he's acting all tough. I'm like, dude, you just have money. You can scare anybody just by suing them.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you got
And
muscles and you're an intimidating guy. We all know it. But like, you got money, which means you by default win in the intimidation game.
Well, he did a little teaser because he's been in like a couple of like video game movies now. Like, actually, I think because he like got his start off when it was in like a really bad one because he was in well, bad but great. It's one of those movies, and
Don't you dare badmouth my Doom. Don't you dare badmouth my Doom.
It's not a good movie. It's
Don't
not
you
a good
dare.
movie. It is
a
very
masterpiece.
Fun,
Paul Urban and fucking The Rock. You badmouthing the wrong movie.
Well, either way, he liked it then, and he liked that Jumanji movie, which I suppose you could call a game movie. But anyway, I really enjoyed that one. Actually, it was quite fun.
You watched the sequel?
I have not. I haven't gotten around to it. Is it also good or is it shit?
I mean, like, the thing is, it's like, you know how I already felt, I think I spoke to you about this, I felt like Jack Black was the only person in the cast that was truly actually just acting, like, actually giving a solid performance other than, because Kevin Hart played Kevin Hart. The Rock played The Rock, and, I forgot her name, Corin, I can't get her surname, but she, because she also plays that blue chick, in the Avengers, the one that's on the Thanos' daughter.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you compare it to that role, she's completely different, but it's still got like this fish out of water vibe because she's now strong and blah blah blah. But like Jack Black was the only one that actually felt like he was putting everything into that performance because he wasn't acting like the Jack Black we knew from all the other movies. He was different. But the sequel for me was like, okay. I watched it. It was funny. It was good, but it's kind of it's again, it's one of those where the sequel is not going to be as good as the first one.
Yeah. Well, either way, the first one was pretty good. And then he was in that Rampage movie, and then he announced.
Oh yes, I forgot about Rampage.
Yeah,
like the making a movie out of an arcade game, which actually didn't really have a storyline.
Yes.
And then trying to make a movie to make it like it has a storyline. That was funny, yeah.
Well, he basically said, I'm going to be in a game movie, a famous game. And people were like, oh, wonder what. And then the game the thing got announced, and I think, to me, I'm like, oh, that's really dull. Like, they already go for a very cinematic vibe, but I don't really think that they would work as movies. I suppose they could. Whatever. Call of Duty. So
What?
Yeah.
So basically, it's okay. Call of Duty is a game based on World War One.
2.
Wasn't Call of Duty 2 based in World War 2? Wasn't Call of Duty 1 based in World War 1?
No. I don't think they've done... I know Battlefield has done World War 1.
No, you're right. It's 2, and then number 1 it's the American side, and number 2 I think it's like the French or Russian side that you get there.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just another war movie. I mean, like, there's so much, like, okay, if you go with, like, what Modern Warfare did, then it's got a storyline. Then it's got a purpose. You can form connections with people. But the first Call of Duty was just a video game about World War II, which means that it's a movie about World War II, which, again, I shouldn't be saying anything because that like World War II movies and stuff, like World War movies, are like a guilty pleasure of mine. So I love watching them. Like I love watching them. So maybe I'm fine with it, but okay. That's all I
Yeah,
can say is okay.
that's also my thing. I'm like, but then in other movie news, Tim Schafer, who's great. He's, for those who don't know, Tim Schafer did Grim Fandango and Psychonauts and Brutal Legend and Broken Age, and now more recently Psychonauts 2. And he basically pretty much just came out to be like, yeah, we're not interested in doing any kind of movie adaptations of any of our properties.
Good.
Even if, yeah, so that's just like a little thing, which I would agree with, because a lot of the time games don't translate well. I did really like what they did with, say, something like Arcane, where they were like, this has always been my suggestion. I'm like, don't adapt it directly. Adapt something in the story, in the world.
Yes, exactly.
You have a whole world. Do something with the world. Like, that's actually what Capcom does a lot with Resident Evil movies, not the live action ones, the CGI ones. They're just expanding the world.
I don't think Capcom had control over what was happening in the live
action. No. The live action ones are going off their rocker doing their own shit, but their ones, the CGI ones, but they're like, it isn't a Resident Evil 4 movie. It's a movie that's basically like a sequel to Resident Evil 4's story set somewhere else with like the same main character, but it's not the same story. There, I'm like, yes, that's cool. Do that. Develop the world. Don't try and emulate the same story. You're just gonna it's not gonna work, because it worked as a game story.
Yeah.
Not as a movie story.
And most of the entertainment value from the game is playing it, which is why a lot of movies that try to adapt the story of the game fall flat. I mean, like, I'm pretty much looking forward to watching the Uncharted movie. Mainly because I feel like, because I didn't get a chance to play the games yet, I want to watch the movie, and then I want to, after I watch the movie, then I want to play the games. Obviously, when I have lots of money and I can buy a PlayStation 3 with the games.
Yeah.
If I can find a PlayStation 3. But I'm looking forward to it, because there have been movies and series about games that have actually come out well. Like, I've mentioned that I went through and watched Mortal Kombat, and it was shit. But then I watched Dynasty Warriors, which was awesome. And then obviously Arcane, which was amazing. And then, now I'm a little bit more open to it, but I don't know how open to it. I mean, there was that rumor that Henry Cavill wouldn't mind playing Commander Shepard in a Mass Effect series or movie, provided that they stuck close to the game. And my thing is, it's a great story, actually. If you haven't played the game, the actual story about it is great, but the only problem is, because it's one of those games that are heavily influenced by the choices you make, not everybody is going to have the same experience as what the character in the series would be showing through. So a lot of games, the entertainment value is by playing it. So when you're watching it and they make a decision that you didn't make, you kind of get a little bit conflicted. Like, I don't know if it's just because Henry Cavill wants to tap some blue cheeks, or if he wants to actually play it in a more neutral. Like, how are they going to decide who? Because the game leaves like your romantic interest open. The Witcher was a little bit more linear in the actual romantic interest and such, because there was a reason for it. There was a reason why Triss got involved with Geralt. But with something like Mass Effect, that's so vague when it comes to how you can play the story. I mean, you can play the story and not bust a nut, and you can still have a great time. Or you can play the trilogy in favor of appeasing one character, and you constantly, through the first, second, and third one, back on that character, and have an amazing ending at the end of it. So there's a lot of, because it's stretched across 3 games, and each game comes with its own section of the story and different decisions that can be made. And because the DLCs of the second one lead to the repercussions of the third one. I know you haven't played it, but if anybody hasn't played it, I'm not going to give away much of an ending and much of a start. But there's a DLC in the second one where you just so happen to redirect an asteroid. No, sorry, that's wrong. Different thing. It's a DLC in the second one where the main antagonist, the Reapers, are actually going to arrive early into the Milky Way. And they're going to arrive through a mass relay that's situated in another alien species space. And what happens is you make the call to rather destroy the mass relay, which the fallout of that mass relay will destroy the planets nearby, killing the colonies on that planet for that alien race. Basically, an act of war against that race. But you're doing it with the justification that if you can destroy that relay, you can delay the invasion by a couple of months, which gives you more time to prep. That's why if anybody has played the second one, hasn't played the DLCs and played the third one, you're wondering all of a sudden why Commander Shepard is on Earth and why he's going to a hearing or a trial. Because you don't know that he had killed off an entire planet's worth of an alien species and removed that colonized system from the map. So you don't realize that. And so it's a little bit jarring when at the end of the second one you finish, yeah, you won the day. Everybody should be happy with you. And then the third one comes around and you're going to a hearing. And you're just like, what? You've been stripped of your Spectre status. You've been stripped of everything. And it's kind of jarring if you haven't, I hate games that store that kind of detail in the DLC. Because then it makes the continuation of sequels.
It's really shit.
Yeah, exactly. But because of the anniversary, you get everything included. But I was one of those people that didn't play a DLC until I bought them, which was much later on, and had already finished the trilogy, and thought that it was a bit weird how I just ended up on Earth in a trial. So yeah, it's a bit weird. And like I said, all those choices, if Henry Cavill wants it, that they're going to stick to the game, it's going to be hard to convince an audience of. You have to pick a lane and say this is what the default Commander Shepard would do. This is what the game developers decided. If you had to go neutral on all the decisions you made, this is how the game would play out. Which is actually a little bit boring because it's kind of nice to be nice to some people and then just be an absolute dick to other people that you choose to not like. So it's a little bit of freedom, but yeah, I don't think that Mass Effect is the kind of game that should be made into a movie. I think, but you know me, I still believe that they should release the next Warcraft movie, even though that idea is long since been extinguished because of box office sales.
Yeah. Although I do think, say, some games like Mass Effect might be better as a series than as a movie.
It has to be a series. There's so much shit that goes down. And then, like I said, if he wants to follow the story of it, it's going to take a long time, and he's going to have to pick the most neutral option. Or he can pick, I would actually prefer it if one of the guys behind the story, or even the director of the series, just played the game and then just relayed his choices. That would be at least a little bit more believable, because we're not seeing a generic bland version of a story because they couldn't choose every path. We saw the director's cut, almost like what the director experienced from it. That would be cool. I would appreciate that over the following the default of the game, because those kind of games are not made for default. Yeah, but that's just me. Just so I don't take up too much of our time.
No, but it's a good point. Actually, seeing as you then said you're interested in the Uncharted movie, that's actually the very next thing in the movie list. The thing about something like Uncharted is I think Uncharted is uniquely positioned as something that would actually really, really good as an adaptation, because it takes so much influence from Hollywood anyway. The games are they're designed to be extremely cinematic. Like, a lot of the time you're not really doing much, you're pushing forward and then things are happening, big set pieces and everything. But the reason I said one of these things could potentially be good for me or not is that the guy who made the Uncharted movie, the director, he's like, the next thing I want to do, make a movie of, is Jak and Daxter.
Oh my goodness, you probably creamed your pants.
Well, I'm very much like, I don't know. because I've seen some screenshots or like some concept art that they made for a possible Jak 4, and you know what the style of Jak looks like. I don't know if you already played Jak.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is, because of those games being born in like the PlayStation 1 era or PlayStation 2, it's got a very unique style to it. And
Yeah.
you don't really see that a lot. I actually think if they didn't do a live action, they just did an animated, like Arcane, they could
Yeah,
pull
I
it off.
mean, I'd like that, but there's always my worry because maybe they don't do that, and then it ends up looking like that awful-looking Artemis Fowl movie they made a while back.
I didn't even
Um,
watch that. Then again, I didn't read the Artemis Fowl books. So.
I heard that there was just one change I heard about that made me go, "What the fuck are you people doing?" Like, you literally completely misunderstand the whole point. Apparently, in it, Artemis is not like the bad guy. You're like, that's the whole point. He's a child villain. That's what made him cool to like kids, to be like, there's this like villain character. He's more like an anti-hero. But in the first book, he's very much like a villain. He kidnaps someone and holds them to ransom. So he's not a good guy. And they were like, oh no, he was doing it for noble reasons. And you're like, oh god, okay. Yeah, you just make it a more modern anyway. But we'll see what happens with the Jak and Daxter thing. But I just worry that they go in the direction that they seem to be thinking of going for Jak 4, which would have been on the PlayStation 3 era, and they were planning on making it look more realistic and less stylized.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's the thing is, I only played the racing one, which is Jak X, I think.
Oh yeah.
I only played that one because that was the only one that was ever bought for me for my PlayStation 2. And I loved it. And the thing
it is great.
Those kind of games, because they grew up in that era, their style is synonymous with them. Because you're like, how could you have a Ratchet and Clank that's like, even the Ratchet and Clank movie was stylized to fit the game style.
Exactly. And it looked so good.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then you look at the latest, did you see the latest Ratchet and Clank? They're going with better graphics, but they still have the stylization. So the fur is nice, the lighting is nice.
Yes.
But it's still, everything is modeled, stylized to that world. And obviously the writing for both games are great. the actual dialogue in those games. Because back then there wasn't much to look at. And it wasn't like before, like Nintendo was hell-bent on having we only do text, no dialogue. But
yeah.
With these games, the characters were funny, they were engaging, and you loved playing them or playing alongside them.
I mean, that's actually also why I love those Spyro remakes. They were basically like, we're slightly changing the art style, but like, it's not really changing the art style, it's change in the models, but to suit a more modern look. But it looks so good. It just looks like what you think if they had the technology, that's what they would have done the first time. Because that was PS1 graphics, which are fucking hideous.
No, it was. I was actually surprised because when I was doing research on getting the right Spyro for your tattoo, and then when I saw the remake, I was like, it did pretty good. Like, cause obviously I looked at a whole lot of concept art of people how they would imagine a realistic Spyro, and I think they did pretty spot on. Like, I've got no complaints. Just don't make a movie out of it. Wait, wasn't there a rumor about a Spyro movie? No.
Yes, there was, but
was
never
there?
came.
Okay,
yeah, nothing came of it. That was a long time ago.
Myself there. I thought that I was bullshitting.
No, I actually remember when you first designed the tattoo, you first did it with the PS1 version. I was like, it actually doesn't look that great with the PS1 version head. So I'm glad that that's the thing. It doesn't look great, but you keep the same style. So also, I really don't think most of the PS2 games look that bad.
No,
okay, some of them did. The ones that tried to look realistic look bad.
Yes, the ones that tried to look realistic, that was bad. But the ones that just simply embraced the technology limitations looked. Yeah. The thing is, I can still go back, and I have gone back and played Ratchet and Clank, and I don't have a problem with the visuals. The visuals look fine to me. I mean, I like that kind of subdued style, and a lot of games have taken that, and then they're still releasing games like that. I mean, your favorite game, Ukulele, also embraces that art style.
I do love the art style on ukulele. I do. I think it's very pretty. But yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, stop talking about movies because this is actually supposed to be about games. Anyway, the next story. Do you know what America's Army is? The game, not the military.
Wasn't America's Army? Um, just wait. I think I've played it.
Oh, interesting.
Is it that online one?
It is an online one.
It is. Okay. So I have played it. I've played America's Army. I played it. I used to play it. I used to go visit a friend. Um, I visited this friend for various reasons, and some of them might not have always been to go visit him. That's all I'll say on that matter. But I visited him, and his dad used to play it a lot. And they used to play on I don't know if it is the same one, but they used to play it a lot, and they used to do the whole you play until you die, and then we swap seats. And then when I was over there,
Yes.
and his dad wanted to play it, his dad would play it. But then when his dad went out, and he wanted to play. I was like, yo, I'm not gonna sit here while you play this game. I'm gonna go home. And he's like, no. Why don't we just do a turn for a turn? Okay, fine. And then you hop in, die. He hops on, dies. I hop on. So I did that. So I did play it, but I won't say my experience of it was enough to say if I like or hate. I just played it.
But do
I
do you
don't
know
know.
anything? Do you know anything about America's Army? Because it's actually a very interesting game.
Were I'm just trying to figure out, did this game have reticles or crosshairs?
I'm not sure. No, the thing that's interesting about it is how it was made and why it was made.
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at images of it, and I'm trying to think, did this game have crosshairs or not? Because I remember. Oh, it does have a crosshair. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a little dot. I was gonna say I remember not seeing the crosshair, and then what my friend would do is his dad took a piece of press stick and he put it
Oh
exactly. He would
shit!
go into the tutorial, and in the tutorial he would find where the crosshair is. He would put the piece of press stick there, and then he would go play online.
That's
But
kind of great.
I don't know if it was
I
because the
like that.
crosshair was too small or whatever. But that's what he did.
I actually think it's possible because they were going for a realistic vibe. But the reason they're going for a realistic vibe is because this game is actually taxpayer funded.
What?
It is literally made by, or I don't know if made by, but funded by the United States military. It is a propaganda tool used to recruit people into the actual army.
This is the one time where you can say that, and I know this is going to be like super controversial, yeah. But this is the one time you can say that video games make people violent.
Yeah.
Or video games
So,
make people kill other people. This is the
yeah,
one time.
and this game has been around for a long time, but the big news is that it's shutting down. It's actually now shutting down. Maybe people, because also something that keeps on happening, which I find fucking hilarious, is that apparently there's a lot of military recruitment drives on Twitch and stuff, and a lot of people just kind of like flood these recruitment drives, just telling them to fuck off, which I
Oh
find
yeah, yeah.
really funny. So yeah, that's America's army because the American military can be quite pushy. And
Obviously, I mean, like, there's a reason why. I mean, like, the America's Army. I really don't have any right to comment on it. But like, I just feel like they're designed to exploit the poor. Like like they need people to fight in a war, and obviously somebody who has a job who's comfortable is not going to enlist. It's not a war which
exactly,
allows them to draft. So they're
yeah,
going to try and target some people who have no option but to enlist, so the poor. And then after they've done, if they survive their service and they're done, if they come back and they haven't had any kind of plan for finances before then, because obviously they'll get paid a wage, but they get paid a wage. They go when they come back. I mean, like money is not gonna help the trauma you went through,
No,
and it's
no,
just not
generally not.
that kind of facility. I mean, there's also like I watched videos about how the dormitories that these guys, if they have no home and they come back after the war, they get set up in these dormitories. But you have to follow the dormitories rule. You have to be back by a certain time. You can't drink. You can't bring people over. You sleep there. You do your thing, and that's that. And they actually have tents all around these dormitories outside of people that went there, didn't want to like they went there, but they didn't. They just came back from a country they're fighting for. And now they're under curfew. They can't drink. They can't have people over. They feel like they're just still stuck in the military. And then when they try to, but they got no other place to go. So when they break a rule, they get kicked out, and they just put up a tent right outside the property on the street. Like there's videos about it, about the dormitories being surrounded by tents because the people got nowhere to go, and the country that they went to go fight for isn't really being helpful to them. Like, yeah, that's just my impression.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just bad exposure to media that has gotten this perspective.
no, I don't think so. I by complete coincidence now, I just happened to see something I think you'd be interested in. Do you remember that mobile game I showed you with
Little Orpheus?
Little Orpheus?
You see, I do. I do.
It's coming to PC in 2 weeks to Steam.
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna. Well, 2 weeks past payday. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe.
I'll just wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah. I can't go. I'll just get a humble bundle because they changed their name.
It's a very fun, cute little thing. But anyway,
yeah, no, it is.
We should move on to the next thing. So,
yeah, we haven't even got into acquisitions yet.
Nope. We still got a ways to go. So, Epic Game Store, which we know they've kind of been the butt of the joke because we keep on getting their free games. And I mean, I've never bought a single thing on the Epic Game Store. And I think possibly through their free games, I might have more games on Epic than I do on Steam.
No,
so
I have a lot of games on Epic, but definitely not more than Steam, because obviously humble bundles. But
yeah,
I will say that a lot of the games I have on Epic I already owned on Steam, but I still like
that is also true. Even if I don't like the game, I'm like, I take it. I don't know, just, why not?
One day I'll play the Batman Arkham games. Because I own them.
They actually are really good.
I will play them. Like one day I will play okay, no. I already tried Vampire. I didn't like it. I already tried Second Extinction. It was okay.
I would say definitely. I can say that
Remnant is one game that I actually properly played the shit out of on Epic.
Well, I would say that Arkham Asylum and Arkham City are really good. I haven't played Arkham Knight, so I can't say. But
definitely not playing Alien Isolation.
I'm a coward. I don't play that.
Alan Wake's American Nightmare.
Fuck Alan Wake. You know that I can fucking rant about Alan Wake.
I already own Borderlands 2, the prequel. I want to play Control. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I did play the more seafaring version of it, and then I realized I liked the game, and then Epic had it for free, so I got it on Epic.
Do you want to know how much I dislike Alan Wake?
We've been
I dislike it. No. This is external. I dislike it so much that it makes me not want to play Control because it's made by the same people. So
you are so petty.
I know. But the thing is, I've never really liked any of their games. Like and they're such classic games, and I've tried to play them so many times. The only good one was when they finally gave it to Rockstar and they did it right. Was Max Payne. I don't like the first two. They're boring. Max Payne 3 is really good. But anyway.
There's actually a lot of games on here. I'm looking through my Epic list and I'm like, there's actually a lot of games in here that I would definitely play. I just wouldn't install it to Epic. I don't know. Like
I
this
know.
Jurassic World Evolution, I would actually still play. I tried playing Ghostbusters, but that was difficult. Like Ghostbusters is a fucking difficult game. I don't know
Yes.
why they made it so difficult.
I know. I've heard. I've never played it, but I know because it came out in like 2008, and it was considered like kind of infamous at the time for being ridiculously difficult. But anyway, Epic Games Store, we always make fun of them because they spend so much money on these free games and they don't seem to make any money back. They have made $840 million this year. Or last year, sorry, 2021. Which, like, sure, I don't know how much they actually spent on those games. So,
But you must remember, it's not just Fortnite that's breaking the money. Like for instance, AAA game studios are all moving to Unreal Engine. That's the money.
This is just talking about the Epic Games Store. This isn't Fortnite or anything.
No,
Just
I'm
the Epic
saying
Games
like
Store.
the Epic Games Store made money, but Epic is the one
Yes.
paying for all of this. So they've got
Yes.
they've got big bucks.
Yeah. So we now move on to more depressing stuff because we can't not do depressing shit. It's the video game industry. So, do you know the IGDA?
Yes, I do. Sorry,
So-
you caught me off guard there, but yes, I do.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, International Game Developers Association, they're one of those groups. So big, all sorts of game developers are in them and everything, and they have been very, very like outspoken about, things like Ubisoft and Activision being like having bad company, whatever. Yeah, and now it turns out that they have their own shit. Like they failed to report certain incidents that happened, harassment things. So while they were criticizing like Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard, they were doing the exact same shit themselves. So that's just fun.
Yeesh.
Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah. Okay, well, sucks to be them.
Yeah. So whoopsie doodles. Now, I have a feeling this might become a regular segment because it seems there's news every single week. It's now time for the crypto corner. Now, first off, the first thing that actually...
one Ethereum Tristan, and this is one Ethereum Justin.
Ethereum is way more than 1 cent, isn't it?
I know. Let's just give us... I don't want to be like, I am 0.000. No.
So, also, is it a South African cent or an American cent?
For us, for it's definitely...
Yeah, for us.
I mean, like, I don't know. I actually don't know if it's something that's said outside of South Africa where you want to give your opinion, which is you want to give your 5 cents, your 2 cents. I don't know if it's used outside of South Africa, so I would say it's a South African cent.
Actually, no, it isn't. It isn't because it's used in an Eminem song.
Okay. Well, there you go. We're American cents because our 1 cent has been discontinued for quite a while.
Yeah, but actually now 2 cent piece has also been discontinued. Okay, anyway, so us, the 2 Ethereum report, the first thing that happened was basically that the White House has stated that they are now looking at how to regulate cryptocurrency, which is exactly the thing that crypto people don't want. So that's just a bit of a danger to them. There isn't really any news on what that regulation will be. They're currently like investigating. But this is also the way that...
Funny. I actually think that's very funny because the whole point of the whole crypto movement was to have things to have the people regulated instead of governments.
Yes.
To have a free currency, to have things decentralized so nobody can control the currency. The currency is controlled by the people. And then countries are like, well, I guess we'll just regulate it.
Yeah. Oh, it is quite great. But so, moving from that, we don't really know what's going to happen with that yet. But we have the NFT stuff. So this is rapid fire. because there's quite a couple of them. And all right, are you ready?
We need to come up with a name for this rapid fire.
Well, I do like this. This could be the crypto corner, but this is rapid fire, which happens just sometimes. So I don't know. It can be the crypto big sell.
No, let's just keep it rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire for now. Okay, so first things first, Ubisoft did NFTs a while back, but no one's really buying them, and the boss at Ubisoft is just like, you just don't get it. That's pretty much there. Troy Baker, who's a voice actor, decided to do some NFTs, and then he called anyone... Troy Baker. I'll do my best. So Troy Baker, voice actor, does these crypto things, and then anyone who criticizes him, he calls them haters. And then about like a week later, he's like, yeah, so I've decided not to do the NFT stuff anymore. Furthermore, Team 17, the guys who make the Worms games, they're actually also a publisher. They do like a lot of indie games, but they're most famous for Worms. They did like NFTs, which their own people didn't know about. Like the workers didn't know they were going to be NFTs, and they basically like started criticizing it. So they also stopped it immediately. And now there's also this idea of crypto loot boxes coming around, which is fun. And then Itch, the itch.io or Itch.io, I don't actually know how to pronounce it.
Yes. I've got some games on Itch.
Yes, I also have some games on Itch. And Itch, they were basically like, yeah, no, NFTs are a scam, so they're not doing it, but they like came out to say it. And yeah, that's pretty much the...
Wait. You have games on Itch?
Oh, I don't mean made games. I mean I own games on Itch.
Oh, okay. Because
I realized
made on Itch.
Yes, I realized after I said it that we were talking about different have games on Itch. Yeah, no, I have a couple of them. But yes, yours is more impressive than mine. I just bought things.
I think NFTs should stay in the crypto space. Like, I don't think I've said this before. I don't think NFTs have a place in media. Don't think so. I don't like if NFTs are being used in a game, it only makes sense to use a game that's built for blockchain. Like you get those on-chain gaming, pay as you earn games, That's where NFTs can stay. But when you try to integrate them into like, oh yes, Half-Life 3 and this time NFTs. If you don't buy the crowbar, you're not getting it. That just stay away from the game. I mean, the games industry alone, like mainstream games industry, has got problems. They got social problems. They've got big problems. Okay, which they're still not fixing, and now they want to add even more shit into it.
Yeah. No, we're fun, but yeah, the thing that I think is the major sort of thing about this is that what keeps on happening is companies keep on saying people are like, we're going to do NFTs, and then basically people say no, and then eventually so many people say no that the company goes, okay, we're just gonna not anymore.
Well, at least they asked. Like I don't mind if a company goes, hey, do you guys think we should do NFTs? And the people go, no. And they go, okay, we're not doing it. But a company that like, hey guys, we're going to keep it hush-hush. We're going to make NFTs. We're going to release it. Everybody's going to lose their minds. And they release it. Everybody's like, bro, what the fuck? Why? Like Ubisoft, Just why?
Yeah. No, and it's good to remember all the other ones that have tried this as well, like the guys who are making Stalker 2. They were also like, it's GCS World, or I think it's GCS World. They were like, yeah, we're doing NFTs, and people were like furious, and they were like, okay, we're not going to do them anymore. Which is pretty funny. But yeah, that's the crypto corner for today. I figured that there's not really a point in going into them each individually because it's sort of, they all have the same basic vibe to them. So it's just good to keep up with what happens. So, Tristan, are you ready for acquisition time?
Woo! I would use my. Okay, no, I'm just gonna give me a second. Put the audio down. There you go. if you still have eardrums after that, there you go.
So, acquisitions. There are basically three. Now, the first one is one that I don't actually care about the acquisition. I actually kind of like the acquisition, mostly because I just think it's cute. Do you know, because it's become a viral sensation, I'm sure you've seen it, whatever, I actually play it because I'm sad, Wordle. Do you know Wordle?
Yeah, no. Yeah, wait. Actually, I've got a funny story about Wordle.
Okay.
My wife's company needed to do a employee evaluation to see how good they are at problem solving. So they made her do Wordle. Some Wordle.
Really?
Yes. Actually, they used it, and yeah. So there you go. I have experience with it. I do know about it. Yeah.
Okay. So you know what it basically, or I suppose for those who don't know what Wordle is, you're given 5 cubes, basically 5 squares, and you have to put in a 5-letter word, and then it'll tell you how many of those letters. If they're green, it means it's in the right place and it's the correct letter. If it's yellow, it means it's in the word but not in the right place, and grey means it's not in the word. And then you have to figure out through a process of elimination what the word is, and you have 6 tries. And there's just one a day. There's just one every day.
It's actually quite funny. The word that she was supposed to get was ulcer, right?
Oh, I actually know exactly that day. I didn't get it.
But the funniest part about it is that when she asked me, because she had already done 1 attempt. No, she had done 2 attempts. She's like, "Do you think it's ulcer?" And I looked at her and I was like, "No, it can't be ulcer." And then at the end, we found out it was ulcer. The reason why I said it couldn't be ulcer was I was thinking Frozen. I wasn't thinking ulcer like the thing that hurts. I was thinking of ulcer for Frozen.
That is so good. That makes me very happy.
I'm glad it didn't make her very happy because she was doing it for work.
Oh, but yeah. So now the story behind Wordle is actually really cute because it's this guy. Because it's completely free. There's no ads on the site. Nothing. It's just completely free. There's one a day. It doesn't try to get you to go anywhere else. It's like, no, here's Wordle. It's made by a guy whose surname is Wardle. He just changed the A to an O. And he actually made it for his partner. I don't know if it's wife or his girlfriend. He made it for her because she likes word games. And then she ended up liking it so much, she gave it to the family to try out. They liked it so much that they put it online. And then it just exploded. Mm-hmm. Completely free, everything. And he was like, fuck, this exploded. And
make some money off of this.
Well, basically, he didn't want to do that, so he decided to sell it, and he sold it to the New York Times. But to me, I'm just like, you know what? Usually these acquisitions are to try and make more money and shit like that. I'm like, you know what, dude? You made a cool little thing. People liked it, and you actually made it for your partner. Get your fucking money, man. That's fine. It's chilled. I'm happy for the guy. I think it's very, very sweet. It's a cute little story. But yeah, so that's Wordle, which has been acquired by the New York Times. It's not like a big game company. It's just a game that has been acquired by a newspaper. But
I know you kind of disappointed me there, but hey, when you live with me, you get to live with disappointment.
Exactly. Also, I listen to the New York Times podcast because I'm sad. So,
no, not sad, just desperate for it.
It's to keep up with the news, young sir. The news! The non-gaming news, okay?
Yeah.
I get to find out about all the fucking misery. It's great.
Now we have 9gag to find the news, because if it's on 9gag. There's two ways to find it out. Either someone is bitching that people are still posting about this news event, so then I find out, oh, there's a news event, or they spamming it on the upload. So basically, people are just reposting shit out of it to get likes. So either way, I am forced to find out about it. I'm not complaining though. Just a little look into my life.
It's a beautiful life, I'm sure. So there is a proper. This is, remember I said there's one I care about. There's a big one, and then there's one that no one really probably gives a shit about. Nacon. We spoke about Nacon before. They're one of those nice big conglomerate companies. They own other companies, and they've just bought up a new one called Midgar Studios.
Wait, I've heard of Midgard. I've heard of them.
They made Edge of Eternity, which I do not know Edge of Eternity. But they have a picture here with a giant cat and a person driving it.
No, man. Is that all they did?
Let me check. Well, on Wikipedia, you cannot click on their name. So I will have to. Let me check quick. Let me see what they did, what they made. Midgar Studio games. Ugh. Stupid thing. All right. It's actually really adorable when you go onto their thing. The very first thing it says is "Check out our portfolio," which I find rather adorable for a game company.
I like game companies. That like also like Gameloft. You guys remember Gameloft? Anybody?
Yes, they're very fun. They make great games, quality.
I actually got an opportunity to apply to them. Like they sent me a project that I needed to do for them to prove my skill, but it just was at a bad time, so I couldn't get it done. But
No,
it was I had the opportunity to try and work with them.
Well, you were almost there, but no, it looks like they only made two games: Edge of Eternity and Hover: Revolt of Gamers.
Oh, but I have heard of them. So.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. It looks like, well, I mean, it looks like a hover game. So I guess that was to be expected.
You get what you deserve.
Well, yeah, that's what they made. So yeah, Nacon, they've acquired them, and Nacon, yeah, they have a whole bunch of like companies you've never heard of, but they're like slowly building up a library. Now, there is one very, very big acquisition, a huge acquisition. Sony bought Bungie.
Yes.
Now, I remember back in the day when Killzone released, the whole point of Killzone was that it was supposed to be a Halo killer. I guess a good way to finally accomplish that is to just buy Bungie.
Well, think about it. Bungie had no place to go. They really tried the Activision Blizzard thing, which didn't work out. They really tried with Microsoft, and that didn't work out. I mean, Nintendo's not accepting. So, like, it only makes sense. Personally, I think the only other option they had was to go down the route and get in bed with Sony. And I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that because Bungie does have really interesting games. It's just that I'm still sour about Destiny 2, so they can do what they want. They can do whatever they want.
It was bought for 3.6 billion, which is, I mean, not quite on par with how much ABK was sold for, but you know, still good. However, they have said that Destiny 2 will not become a PS5 exclusive. Like Sony has said that. A part of me feels like I wonder if Sony is doing this because of ABK, because they're like, okay, if we say it's gonna go on Xbox, then maybe they'll let Call of Duty stay on PlayStation.
Yeah, like, you know, I feel like this. We're not old. We're not. I mean, like, we're still in our 20s. I feel like when we get to like our 40s or something, it wouldn't be a surprise if either if all of a sudden the game industry is owned by Disney or something, 'Cause I know Microsoft will never, Sony will never bend the knee to Microsoft in that regard, and neither will Microsoft do that, which means the console wars will go on. And obviously, Microsoft is obviously also PC, so they've got a lot more financial backing. But like something like Disney just comes around, and all of a sudden we report on Disney, and for anybody who's still listening to this in 2042, you can say I told you so. But I wouldn't be surprised if Disney ends up buying Microsoft or buying Sony for something stupid like I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you know what? Amazon likes to do the thing where they fuck over smaller companies and then buy them up. Maybe if Amazon keeps getting bigger, they'll be like, you know what? We keep on fucking up with the game industry. Let's just buy one. Let's just like buy Microsoft. Maybe not Microsoft. Let's just like buy Sony. But yeah, we'll see. But now this is the weirdest thing. This is the weirdest little thing about this. Actually, maybe before the weird thing, I'll say the cool thing that Sony's doing. Sony's actually spending essentially a large chunk of this is specifically to retain Bungie staff, to like keep them, so they don't fuck off elsewhere, which is cool. They're like sort of ensuring that these devs don't end up getting like laid off and whatever. Although when I hear about layoffs, it's not usually Sony; it's other companies that do the layoffs. That's an Activision thing. They like doing the layoffs. Congratulations, everyone! You made us so much money. Thank you so much for all your hard work. The door is over there. If you just, could just leave.
Can you really blame them? I mean, like, if you take staff, right, from a studio that is respected, that actually has good morals, they're just going to be whistleblowers. You don't want that. So rather just get rid of the whistleblowers. I mean, there was that whole thing with Blizzard when the old Blizzard, when they were filtering out the old Blizzard staff. You can take this great severance package, and we will give you a great recommendation to your next job, but you have to leave.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a case of they just don't see a future of having them in the company because they're just going to be whistleblowers, and they still need to do all the shit that they're doing. So somebody has to pay the price.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Sony is trying to keep these people because that's great. But now for the weird thing. Sony has announced. Sony, they're like, okay, so we've just bought Bungie. They are going to help us launch 10 live service games by 2026.
Help who?
Who
they're helping?
Bungie is going to help Sony launch 10 live service games. Bungie does have the experience with Destiny, I suppose. But yeah, I thought that live service games were actually starting to die off a bit because it turns out that they're shit. But
I will say this, okay, because I'm so opinionated on Destiny. Destiny was good when when Activision Blizzard. Wait, ABK, sorry.
Yeah.
Is it ABK? Yeah. When ABK, yes, ABK. When they were still a part of ABK. Because honestly speaking, when they left ABK is when they took away the Red Wall. They took away the leveling system because it was like because obviously Blizzard knows how to do MMO leveling. I mean, Blizzard knows how to do MMO because of WoW. So they had a really cool loot, gear rating, and a play level, and you unlock stuff. That was awesome. That was the Destiny 2 I love. But when they announced that, first they announced that it would be free, and then they announced that Bungie is leaving. After Bungie left, Destiny 2 for me just tanked. They took away the leveling system, so all the effort that I put in. They took away the intro story, so anybody who's playing Destiny 1 and then goes to Destiny 2 won't actually know what the fuck happens until the next expansion. So yeah, Um, go Bungie, I guess.
Well, we will see what comes of it. But yeah, but it's quite a big acquisition. Not quite the ABK size, but still big. Also not Bethesda size, but still big. But we do now have news about that whole ABK thing. So, first off, the FTC has come forward, it's a Federal Trade Commission in the States, to check basically this acquisition because, well, do you know what antitrust is?
It's the opposite of a trust.
Well, do you know what a trust is?
It's the opposite of suspicion.
So, basically back... It has a long history. Basically, it started back during the early industrial days when certain people were building up huge monopolies. People like Rockefeller and Carnegie. They were building up these huge monopolies. And so the government was like, no. Basically, you're doing capitalism so well that you're breaking capitalism. So we need to stop these monopolies from happening. And that's what antitrust is, where they try to break these up. So whenever there's huge acquisitions, it has to go through the FTC. They have to check, and they're currently investigating them to see if they will allow this acquisition because it is a big deal. And then almost as if to come straight off that, French retailer, I don't know who the French retailer was, but they were like, okay, we're going to put up signs basically in our shops to tell people, be careful with which console you buy because of the acquisition. Microsoft has made assurances that Call of Duty games and such will be on PlayStation. They've made those assurances, but you need to be aware that that might not be the case. And that is basically the definition of a potential monopoly happening, where you're like, oh, no, this is, if you control too much of one thing, then it eliminates competition. So, that is...
Again, bad. This is a console problem.
Yes, it is. It is a console problem. However, actually, there was a big PC antitrust thing that happened recently, where I think it was a huge chip manufacturer bought another one, and that was I think actually they might have stopped it because it would have been really bad.
But a huge that's the thing. It's we barely even there was the chip shortage. We barely even have chips, and now people are buying up chip companies. Because there was a lot of that was the reason for the shortage in the latest PlayStation console was they just didn't have enough chips.
Yeah. Well, this was okay, so it was fucking huge. It was blocking between so basically it was going to be a merger between Nvidia and ARM. I don't know ARM, but
oh yeah.
So that would be...
I remember that. Okay, do you not know who ARM are?
No. Well, looks like they make semiconductor chips. But
it's definitely not African rainbow minerals.
Well, this was something that the FCC moved to block because it would have been too... it would basically eliminate too much competition. So, bad, naughty. But so that's antitrust. So, we're currently seeing what's going to happen on that. But, as if also in response to this, Microsoft was like, listen, we will make Call of Duty and stuff available on PlayStation for years to come. When it first happened, they said, everything that's already been set up will be released. And you're like, yes, because you legally have to, you have a contract. But when the contract ends, you don't have to renew it, which could mean that you're going to end that and make it exclusivity. So that's just a bit of a worry.
I'm not worried at all because if it was Sony taking a game that I like and was going to say, no, we own the company, we're going to keep it on exclusive, or we're going to turn that whatever that company makes into exclusive, that's fine. But the nice thing about Microsoft exclusive is that it will translate to both Xbox and PC. I'm not
You
biased.
see, yeah, because you're biased, you disgusting child.
I'm no. Right. I would be biased if I say screw PlayStation. I already told you plan to get a PlayStation. I um I'm dealing with some expenses at the moment, but as soon as I can have a little bit of a breather, I will buy a PlayStation because they got good exclusives, and some of the exclusives I still can't get. So I'm not buying the latest generation PlayStation. I'm gonna first buy a PlayStation 3 and then a PlayStation 4 so I can play the games that I missed. I am
Yeah,
playing both sides. I'm just saying there's more accessible. It's easier to access the
true.
um
Very true.
the Microsoft exclusives because it doesn't just mean that you have to buy an Xbox. If you're a PC player, you still have access to it. Whereas the Sony side and the Nintendo side, you have to buy their consoles. And
Yes.
I mean, as much as I like playing Legend of Zelda and I like the idea of playing the Pokemon games or playing Monster Hunter, I'm not getting a Switch.
No,
I'm
no,
not
I agree.
because I'm already putting money into getting a PlayStation. A PlayStation has so much more versatility. Like these games that I haven't played on PlayStation 3 that I want to finish on PlayStation 3. These games like I got an Xbox 360 because I thought I would never be able to afford a computer, and I got it. And to this day, I still own it. And whenever myself or my wife gets we go to like a bargain buy or something, we see like, oh, I didn't get a chance to play the game when it came out, and if the CD is not scratched beyond all belief, I'll buy it. I'll put it into my Xbox and I'll play it. I mean, when I bought the Xbox, I had two games: the game that came with the Xbox, which is Fable Anniversary Edition, and a game given to me by somebody, which is that arcade demo thing that you get. I just had that, and then it's been like 5 years, 6 years, and last year I bought the Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, and I bought. I was given Alien vs Predator. I bought Fable 2. I bought Halo Reach. So I'm still exploring that console's era of games, and I'll do the same with the PlayStation. It just, it just, it's easier to get access to those games on the Microsoft side, especially
Very true.
with this Game Pass, because a lot of the games
Yeah,
they're not making Xbox exclusive games anymore. They've realized that Xbox is just another means to play their games. Whether it's PC or Xbox, they're still making money off. Simple. I'm done now.
well, I do agree with you. I think you make a good point. And also, actually, we've come to the end of news.
Oh, the end of news.
Yes, the end of all news. The end is coming.
No. The end of all
Well,
news is just the discontinuation of freedom of
event,
speech.
eventually, the end will come to the entire world, the universe, and everything. So eventually, there will be no more news to be had.
That we know
And
of, because we won't be
that we know
around.
of. True, true,
But that's still very far away. I mean, like, that's very far
true, true. At least 8 minutes away.
away. Okay, you got me there. Yeah, you got me.
One day, we'll see. But yeah, I believe that is everything. I don't think I have anything else to add. What about the use?
The memes. I don't have anything particular to add. Games that I've been playing. If anybody's interested in that, I have been playing. I mentioned I'm playing for. Oh yes, I've been playing Project Zomboid. I got it. Playing it. It's fun. It is difficult, but it's fun. I've been enjoying Project Zomboid, and I renewed my subscription to WoW. So I've been playing that as. That's what I've been playing.
Well, I have been trying to convince myself to start playing a new game again. Um, but I'm really busy, so every time I'm like, okay, you have to start again. You have all these games, start a game. And I'm like, yeah, but that like takes effort. I'm just gonna do a run of BPM.
I saw that actually. I actually saw that that you're playing BPM again. Why don't you?
Yeah.
Why don't you play a game that I've recommended? Like, why don't you start playing Mass Effect? Lazy bastard.
Well, I have to buy it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see.
I'm a poor
What games do
bitch.
you? If you gave you poor hashtag poverty cost, but if you've been grabbing every game on Epic, just like I have, there are some games to play. There are some.
I fucking know, man. I know. I literally right here. I have games downloaded because that's my thing. I like download games I'm going to play. I have BioShock, Call of Juarez, Gunslinger, which I'm played 90 minutes of, but haven't touched it in nearly a month. Get in the Car, Loser, Mouse of a Tale, Kentucky Route Zero, Killer 7, and Stasis. I have all those games downloaded because I wanted to play all of those, and I just haven't because I'm a lazy prick.
Well, lucky for you, like there are some games on that list that I've played as well. Like I played Call of Juarez I played it when it was one of the greatest experiences. This is old school, man. I go over to a friend's house, a mutual friend of ours, and he has the game. So you know what we do? Put it into our CD-ROM. We didn't have DVD-ROM. We had a CD-ROM. We put it in there. We installed the game on one person's computer. We launched the game. We removed the CD, and we installed it on another person's computer. We launched the game. We removed the CD. And we did that for 4 people.
That is great.
And then we all land the game.
That is great. Also, I actually remember you guys always talking about Call of Juarez in high school. I remember it, but this is Call of Juarez Gunslinger. I don't know if it's the same one.
No. I took a look at it. It's the same one we used to play because our mutual friend had both.
Okay.
I think like one's an expansion or the sequel. I'm not sure, but basically we had a fun time because I used to play a guy with pistols, but our mutual friend used to play a Native American with a bow. It's funny because you wouldn't hear him, you wouldn't see it, you kind of hear this poof, 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 but you didn't know where it was coming from because it's just the twang of the string. But if you saw him and you fired once, he's dead. And we had such a good time. But like I said, those were the days when we used to install the game, run the game on one disc, and then transfer it over. I actually did that for a few games. We used to install the game, put in the key at the back of the CD box, and then launch the game, and then take the CD out. So that someone else could play the game.
Do you want to know something? I think that you just found this funny. Because it literally doesn't work anymore, and it's still in the game. The first Metal Gear Solid, I played it on. I got it as part of the. It was part of a collection, on PS3, and so I played the first Metal Gear Solid, which was on the PlayStation 1, and I was stuck because I had to find a code to something, and then whenever I called, like my, you can whenever you want to, you can stop and you can call your like mission command. And the guy was like, "It's on the box, Snake. It's on the box." And I'll be like,
"And you didn't have the box."
But I was looking at, because I had like items in my inventory that were boxes, and I was like, I can't. There's nothing on. Turns out, literally, it's on the box, on the PlayStation 1 box, on one of the little screenshots from the game. The code is there.
Yeah, that was a very like I still remember. People complaining about that. That's a very famous one.
It just made me like, okay, you guys obviously didn't anticipate digital.
You remember those?
It's a cool idea, but fuck.
Those games that used to put a secret inside. Like I think Metal Gear also did this, but you put a secret inside a game. Our snake oil salesman Peter Molyneux also did this. You put a code into the game that if decoded becomes a website link that you go to the website and you get something out of it.
Yes.
What game was it where you get a phone number and you could call? It was only in America, but you got a phone number. It was the first
God of War.
Yes, and you called and Kratos picked up. You can't do that nowadays. Because that number's
No.
gone. Those websites will close down.
What's actually quite funny.
Game.
What is funny, because obviously we get the EU releases here in South Africa, so it didn't have the number. You just unlock the phone call, so you could just play it, and it's actually fucking funny. I don't know if you know what's actually in the call.
No. I've heard it. I've actually heard it. But the thing is, we had games with good Easter eggs. I mean, like one of those that we will never stop talking about is Warcraft 3. They had like. When I watch Aliens, the movie, right? When I watch Aliens, I'm repeating dialogue that Aliens, that was said in Aliens, but was memed before memes in StarCraft. So I got all this dialogue from StarCraft. Then I watched Aliens because I was young enough to play StarCraft, but I wasn't old. I was old enough to play StarCraft, but not old enough to watch Aliens at that time. So when I actually got old enough to watch it and I could watch it, I was like, oh, they're saying the same things. And then my older brother explained to me how everything worked, like how StarCraft had taken the dialogue out of there. But now whenever I watch Aliens, I repeat the dialogue, but I'm not repeating it because of Aliens, I'm repeating it because of StarCraft. And that's what I'm saying, like things like that. Those kind of effort that was put into games back then.
Also, to me, I'm like, I know that they're from Monty Python, but to me, a lot of them are actually from Warcraft 3. You're the king. Well, I didn't vote for you.
No, I will always say my favorite line from Warcraft 3 comes from the peasant, and it's help, I'm being repressed. It's so smart. Like it's for me. I thought that was peak intellect humor right there.
I know. Oh,
that's where my love of puns comes from. God damn, Warcraft.
I loved it. But anyway, I think that is everything. Would you say so?
No, I think it is. I think we can wrap it up here. Cool. Tell everybody you love them. Your usual shtick.
Yeah. Well, what do you don't have anything to plug, I presumes? No. That was like the saddest little. No. That was great.
Well, what do you want me to say?
I'm just checking. Well, I happen to tomorrow, although I don't know when this will release, but tomorrow, which is the 16th, will be another video coming out. I currently have videos that are actually very educational. They are meant to help people doing a specific university course. So there's one about every 2 weeks at the moment till the end of March. So there's one tomorrow. And it's about Russian formalism, which is very, very specifically literary. So like most people probably won't be interested. But if you want to learn about Russian formalism, you can watch my video. It was very, very... What was actually really adorable is this video. So I release it, and then a person, she watched it, and I know these subjects, they confuse some people. Some people really struggle with it. And the one from 2 weeks ago, the person commented just with the words, "Thank you," which I thought was really adorable. So hopefully it helps some people understand these concepts.
You actually are helping people, and you're helping yourself, because the more positive feedback you get from your videos, the more likely you are to become a lecturer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was also sort of my thing. That was also sort of my thing. I was like, I'm gonna make these videos, and they can help people. And then, it's the subject that I would, in all likelihood, then actually teach. I will end up doing more of these, but not this year. Next year, I might do more university stuff. For now, it's just these 5 videos, and then back to other shit. So yeah. Tomorrow's Russian formalism. 2 weeks ago was romanticism. So if you're interested, go check them out. Also, about 2 weeks ago was actually the end of the month. So it was also a video about angry music. And I liked that video. And I think I did alright. So
I still haven't seen that video.
On LC Lupus. I'm so disappointed, Tristan.
I'm like your one subscriber that actually watches all your videos. Don't even start with me.
I do know one other person who does, so and they happen to be a university student. So there's 2 people. So nah, but yes, you're my favorite. You're the best one, the one that can be kissed and sucked off and all sorts of things. So yeah,
benefits. Subscribe now to LC Lupus. You can get the benefits too. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
And if I were to ever get a Patreon, if you give a high enough amount, you know what you can receive.
I don't, but I'm going to stay away from that one.
You hurt me. You hurt me so much. All right, well, I believe that's everything then. So, should we say ta-ta?
Indeed.
All right, well then, goodbye to all the people of the world. I hope that life doesn't suck. I mean, it does, but hopefully it doesn't suck that much in the coming weeks. Do you have anything to add?
That's a lot to ask for. That's all I have to say. I hope life doesn't suck. Just a lot to ask for. No. I'm good. I hope everybody takes care out there. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time on the 2 Cent Report.
Yes, we never actually say the name. It's probably
we don't have to. We recorded ourselves saying it earlier, so
True. That is true. Okay, well then, goodbye to all the people of the world, and as per usual, I love you.